Howdy, y'all. My name is Russell, and welcome back to another Craftiverse episode. Today we're starting off at the Blaze Farm that we kind of built last episode. We did this left-hand side, which is identical to this right-hand side. We did off camera. Luckily, we had the exact amount of space we needed for both of these to be at full capacity and kind of move them without having to alter anything. And for now, we kind of have a temporary setup of how we're going to kill them and get them, moved vertically. It's a little broken just because I kind of killed one of them. And yes, I do have hostile mob sounds turned down just so I'm not going deaf. But yeah, we do have a slime block launcher right now that pushes them across and drops them into this little hole. Where for now, we're killing them with our hand. It does cause a little bit of blockage and stuff like that, but it does kind of work. Um, the end plan is for us to move them from here vertically up to the top where we AFK, and then have them kind of drop off over with lava, and then end up in a killing chamber that we can easily kill them at while also spawning that. The reason for us having to be up here instead of by the killing chamber for them to spawn is the way I built the farm. Um, they unfortunately don't spawn when we're down there because it's over, I believe, 15 blocks away, or it's exactly 15 blocks away. But yeah, I did get a little bit of a prototype designed in my creative world. So let's go ahead and take a look at that, and then we'll join back here to build the elevator. Okay, y'all. So we are in my creative world, and here we have the kind of system we're going to use. It is a slime block elevator, which starts down here. We'll eventually have like a hopper clock that triggers it. So we'll set up the hopper clock like here, have a target block into it, or some form of redstone into that, and then continue up with how we see it here. This is a small scale version of this. We'll have probably about 2 or 3 of these little launchers like that, and then the thing that kind of pushes them horizontally, but it's essentially launching them up and then over into a lava stream that moves them into the killing chamber. And it works kind of like this. I'll show you with a few. It does seem to be pretty consistent with getting them, to the location and not having them fall back down. Obviously, sometimes I feel like that is going to happen. But the good thing is because it's going to be on a timer, it'll just send them back up again. And then I think it'll fix that whole issue. Yeah. And then they move across the lava and then into the killing chamber where we'll end up killing them. And I think that's going to work pretty well. It might not be, like 100% efficient, but for our needs and for the server's needs, I think we have, a fun way of doing it. And then also just kind of an easy, access point for us to kill them and everything. So we got the farm blocked off a little bit, right? Just so we don't have any places dropping down on us while we're building the start of it. I'm gonna clear out some, area for us and get all that stuff taken care of. Essentially, what we're gonna have to do is build a hopper clock, and it doesn't necessarily matter, like the timings and all that stuff. Like we can kind of have it be whatever we want. So I'll do a hopper there, and then another hopper there. And actually, before I make that mistake, let me fill in this area with lime terracotta as well, only because I don't want this to, be mined by somebody on accident, and then that breaks the entire farm. Like that's not really ideal. But we got that going, and then we'll get some redstone blocks in there. As far as timing goes, I don't really know what I want to do. I think we can do a very easy kind of like system of just maybe 32 blocks. We want enough blazes that it'll accumulate them, but we also don't want too many that it ends up being like overload and then they can't move up. But we'll see if that works out. I do want to make it a 1 tick pulse though, or I guess a 2 tick pulse technically. So let me grab this out, and then we'll take an observer, and then get rid of that for now. Where's our some bucks? And then we'll do a 2-tick pulse. So, and that should make it to where they don't ever get like, left behind by the slime block and all that stuff. We'll mine that out. And then we'll go up. And I kind of got to do some testing on like where I end up here, because that's mainly the biggest issue is if I overestimate where they're going to end up, we're not going to get any blazes. So we go in here, see where we go. Oh, that would probably be something that I need to get rid of. We'll see where we get launched this time. I want to say it was like right about there. So we'll see if I can land on top of that. If I can, that would be perfect. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to say that this is probably where the first layer needs to be. And the way we're going to have to do it is just, like a pillar of torches and everything. It shouldn't be that big of a deal. It should be pretty easy. But we'll get started on that, and I'll be back with you once I get a little bit more of this built. And yeah, see y'all in a few. Okay, guys, so here we are. We are at the finished up kind of killing chamber, Blaze Farm. This is still temporary. I don't have this fully done because they're still getting aggroed and all that stuff. What I think will eventually happen is I'm going to have to probably make it to where the killing chamber goes into an area that encourages them to follow a path or something like that. We'll have to kind of play with that. It might also just be that I have to eventually kill them. Still run down, but at least they're in a centralized area and there's a cool way of getting them kills and all that stuff. To show y'all kind of how it works right now, it's a redstone torch tower pretty much up with staggered delay timings on each of these pistons all the way to the top one, which is the horizontal launcher right there. And it's not too complicated. If you kind of just look at it, it's just a repeating design all the way up with some minor changes just because of how the nether terrain was, and also just me not wanting to go too big with it. The one change I did make is instead of using an observer here, I ended up just using a regular redstone line and setting the the hopper timing to be like 2-ish seconds, which if you don't know, it's 2.5 items every second about. And if you do, 6, that'll be a little bit over 2 seconds. So that's kind of what we did. I am done with the nether for the day, so we will, pick back up in the overworld. Alrighty, guys. So we are back at the base after working on the Blaze Farm a little bit. Obviously, we were at a good stopping point. I think we'll figure out kind of a better crushing method at some point. But for now, we're just going to leave it as is and kind of work with that. So the rest of today's episode, I kind of want to use as an interior thing. Now, if we walk in here, we'll see a temporary floor. You know, it's not anything permanent yet, but me and Cheese had discussed while I had a chance a little bit of a design using furnaces, because essentially what I wanted to do is create that old medieval style flooring, which if you haven't seen it, it's basically just rocks on top of the floor. It's nothing too crazy, not like wood or anything like you'd see in a modern day home. Um, and yeah, I'm a pretty big fan of the way that this looks. But I want y'all's opinion on it. Do you think I should kind of use it as like a mediator or like kind of a transition block between the two, or maybe even transitioning from, the cobblestone into the furnace block, and then the andesite being the outside? Truly is going to be a collaborative effort between me and y'all, just because I want us to all kind of enjoy the floor. Now, obviously, you won't see too much of the floor because there's going to be a lot of stuff in here for the interior, but yeah, just as a little bit of a temporary solution, I think that would be a pretty cool design pattern and stuff like that. So, what are we planning to do with this area? This wall over here, I want to make essentially a furnace, or not a furnace, a fireplace, sorry. But I have a kind of cool design for that. We'll get to there once we get there, but we'll also go over here and create a dining table. This will be like the main dining area / main entrance. We'll probably have this being, a very, very open area down here with a wall kind of separating this. At some point, I don't necessarily know because I don't want to block off this door, but maybe we just end up shifting over the door a little bit. But anyways, so yeah, a little bit of a dining table, maybe a chandelier coming down, and then a fireplace over there. Some other details and trinkets and stuff. We'll probably create like a flooring here that the wall will divide up, and then we'll have the staircase kind of be right here still, but a little bit different. Once we get up here, I want to make this area pretty much a storage / brewery maybe kind of area. These little walkways are going to be just decoration for now. I'm also going to flip this around to be horizontal with the wall, just because I don't really like the way that it looks right now. We'll put that back in there because we borrowed it from there. And yeah, this will be a completely separate wall. We'll do a design for that, and then maybe a botany area, some little troughs or something. You can't really do too much because you can kind of see on the outside, so we can't like replace the floor or anything like that with this. Maybe it is just an observation deck, but a little bit of like a trough in the middle here could be pretty cool and create some ambience and all that stuff. So yeah, and if you keep going up, we'll put a bell tower or a bell in the bell tower eventually. That'll be a project for later me, but it'll be done. And we'll have this walkway, probably some barrels up here, just things to store stuff and anything that I might need on like a whim when I'm up here. And then this will be the bedroom / desk, study, whatever you want to call it. And it'll be a lot nicer looking too once I'm done with it. I'll probably get rid of this grand roof, and we'll probably do like a divide here, kind of making it look a little bit neater as we go. Probably some blocks to fill out the rest of this as well. So yeah, that's the plans. I think once we get the resources for it, we'll be able to go through it together and kind of show you my thought process when designing interiors. I'm not the best with it, but I hope you enjoy what I do. And yeah, let's go grab some materials real quick. All right, so I came down here to mine some stone and some deep slate and, get some resources. And that bat bit me. I also got an arrow on my chest, but that doesn't matter. That bat bit me. And I'm not sure if I should be worried or not. I might have to go to the doctor a little bit later, but we'll keep mining for now. Okay, guys, so we're gonna start off. I think with the table first, just because I think that will kind of give us a better like I don't know representation of what we want to do in terms of like scale and all that stuff. So something pretty simple that I've seen a few people do, or you know, maybe not that many people, but use the shelf as kind of like our legs for it. I've seen stairs too, but I think you can get like a pretty good outline of like where the dining room table legs go with this. And then we just do something really simple across. Let me actually use trapdoors for this. And then that gives us like a pretty good basis for a table. And then what we can kind of do on the outside is do a little bit of maybe spruce chairs. And yeah, I know they're kind of close, but it is, medieval. So we'll just roll with that. And I'm going to fix these. Don't worry. I just need to get them on the other side first. And we'll get rid of that. And then we'll do the same on this side. So I'm going to put a block here and here. Have to get rid of that torch. And then those. And then there we go. So that's like a rough table. It's different. I don't know if it's necessarily great. I mean, like I've said, I've seen a lot of people use like staircases here. And I think there is probably a way, maybe actually if we do this, it would look a little bit better. But then I think we lose a lot of what makes this table look like a table. So we'll stay with what we got for now. Yeah, that is pretty good. We'll fill out the table with like decorations and stuff like plates a little bit later. For the fun part here, I think a fireplace that kind of goes out and up would be best. So what I want to do real quick is kind of just mark out where I want the campfires to go. So this is an even wall, so we'll put that there. And then we'll put some iron bars there. Go 1, 2, 3, 4. So from here, we can go up and into the wall and then kind of just maybe stack some fireplaces all the way up or some walls the way up. I think we want to go 2 up here and then kind of come out though. So like, we want to use a little bit of a darker block, I think, for the inside. Do this. And then we'll do that just to kind of simulate like, some, what would it be called? Ashes and stuff like that. We're going to put some deep slate down here. Just I think it does a pretty good job of kind of giving off that color and then bringing it out a little bit more too. And yeah, so that kind of fills out what I want the fireplace to kind of be sitting on. We'll do some like shadows and stuff a little bit later. I also might put some chairs on the edge here, but again, we'll get there when we get there. Let's see here. So we want to go up and kind of connect the walls. So we'll do some tuff there for some stainage and that there. And then we'll do a little bit more tuff blocks here. Maybe some regular tuff over here. Mixed with some mossy cobble. And some stone moss bricks. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. I just gotta kind of mimic it on this side. So just because this one's a little bit more tough looking, I'm gonna do that, and then I'll do tough bricks to there, and we'll do tough bricks up just a bit to match that. And from there, what do we want to do? Maybe some type of... Actually, let me get rid of these walls, because what I'm going to do is actually bring this out and kind of have like a shelf, so that won't necessarily need to be there. Maybe come back in with like a tough kind of style thing. Let me grab some more stairs real quick. Let's see here. Come up. And we'll put some there and there. And then from there, we can kind of go up in like walls, end it there, and then have maybe some tough bricks right here and here. Yeah, I know that's the simple thing. It's maybe not exactly what it could look like at the best, but what we're going to do is kind of add the details in as we go. So we do have a lot of mangrove, and I want to use that mangrove for some detailing. So we'll craft some slabs up here, and we'll put one going across like that. I know it's not like a fully connected piece yet, but actually what we'll do is we'll put like stairs there. Or not stairs, a full block, and we'll just do some slabs for that. And then that'll let us do some detailing there, which could look pretty cool. I'm gonna grab some spruce trapdoors because I want to use those as like the blocker kind of thing. As like a temporary block. I think though I'm gonna put the copper trapdoors there so we can kind of use that. And we'll get rid of that light. And this should provide a lot of light down here, but I do want to use like some copper rods and stuff like that. So what we'll do is we'll put the lightning rod down there, 3 candles, light it up, and then do the same on this side. And then now we have kind of our framing for what we want to do. I'm going to put like some things on here and here, but we're going to add some, staircases, or not some staircases, some bookshelves here to kind of break up the wall so we can get rid of that. And yeah, I like the way it looks. It's different, but it's Minecraft, so we're trying to do a little bit of differences and stuff like that. I can maybe come out like this and surround it. Don't know entirely. Ooh, let me get rid of that. Maybe that's something, maybe not. It really just depends, but we'll leave it as is for now and kind of come back and tweak it a little bit as we need to. And we're back. So, what do y'all think? I like it. I think it looks pretty cool. It's pretty nice. It's cozy. This is gonna oxidize all the way. So this is like a little chandelier. It's not the greatest. I didn't realize until after I started building it that this was an even number. So you can't really do like a good chandelier, but they're gonna oxidize all the way and they'll kind of be the same color as those little signs up there. Hopefully, or at least similar to it. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with the fireplace. I changed it a little bit, so it's not exactly the same, but it looks pretty cool. Everything still kind of functions. It's pretty bright, like this whole area. Once these kind of go out, it'll lower the light level a lot, so that's gonna be fun. And then up here, I got this in a little bit, just as a temporary thing for now. Obviously, that's not gonna be how it looks. And actually, I'm gonna take that out real quick. But what I want to do, and what I was talking with Cheese about, because Cheese helped me with a lot of it. That's a little bit of an annoying thing, but it's fine. We can just walk past it. But what me and Cheese were talking about doing is kind of like a dividing wall, and I did want to do that from the beginning, but I kind of had a better way of doing it. So basically, what I want to do is put like a door, probably here, or maybe on this side. I'm not too sure yet, but I think this would be the best one. And then let me just kind of place that down real quick so we can show you what I mean. So we'll have the door there, all right, and that'll open up into what will be the dining room, right? And the wall I want to make kind of like, honestly, like a trapdoor divider. I think would look the best. But we'll kind of design that as we go. Yeah. I'll design that a little bit off camera, real quick and tinker with it, and then we'll get back to doing this side. We'll do this together too, just to show you the staircase, that idea that I have in mind and all that. But yeah, I will get back to you once we have a plan. So what I ended up doing is not a trapdoor wall because it was kind of just creating a little bit of issues. Now it is a little cramped, not gonna lie, but I think that's kind of the idea, is I want it to feel a little cramped, at least down here, and then kind of open up as we go further. So we have this divider wall, which is not, the nicest, but it works. It works. And we'll walk down this way, and then you open this door, and here is our dining room. So this hasn't changed much. It's just still oxidizing. Let me know if y'all like that. I like the way that it looks, especially because I'm probably going to put some type of kind of like arch thingy looking whatever that I want to end up doing, at least on the top of the hallway. But let's get on to this. So I did have a design for this. I actually think it's going to look really good too. So here's how it's going to work. We're going to go one here. And now I might have to kind of change where they go as I go up because I didn't really pre-plan this, but maybe a little bit more back. So yeah, actually there's those stairs right there, and then we're up. So right now, that's kind of what I wanted. It's really, really easy. It's not really that hard to do, and it works pretty much perfectly with that window. So yeah, we'll kind of load that as like our temporary staircase, or a permanent one for this level at least, and then we'll, maybe tuck away a secret here, like redstone or something like that. But when we come up here, I want to put like a railing over. I think that's the best thing to do, just because I'm gonna do. Let me actually. I don't know if I can do this without. I don't know if it'll break. It might break. Doesn't. Perfect. So we can have this entrance be right here, and then this will lead into a wall of some sorts that'll go up here. Yeah, I think that works pretty well. It's not a lot, but it does kind of add a little bit of some intrigue. We can put something here. I don't know, maybe like some workbenches and stuff. But real quick, let's actually craft up a few stone bricks, and then we'll set down our shulker boxes as we can kind of build this together real quick. It shouldn't be that big of a deal. Because as we go up, we want to add that shading in, kind of look like it's weathered a bit. So we'll get that there. Something pretty simple. I mean, like once you're like looking at it from down here, it really does just look like darkness. So that works out pretty well. I'm pretty happy with that. And like I said, it kind of opens up. This is like a foyer kind of area. For now, what we can do is just kind of block it off as like a, that thing. We can also do the same thing for that. So it does look like a wall right now, but it is a staircase. And yeah, as we go up, we'll probably like do, one here. Eventually, I feel like let me just map this out real quick with y'all here because I don't know if this will work or not, but we can try it. Is I believe I will have to eventually do some full block stairs just because I don't think there's actually a way to get it to kind of go where we want it to go. Maybe there is. Maybe it is this way actually, because we can bring out this wall as well, or this flooring as well here to kind of match up with what we want it to be, and then just go there. And that does actually work. So maybe this is how we'll do our staircase all the way up, and then just kind of bring up that polished basalt. It's pretty simple. Like I said, it's not anything too crazy, but it does kind of, I don't know, make this feel a little bit nicer in some ways, We will have to add like railings here, obviously, too, but I think that's part of the gig, right? So do railing, railing, and then maybe some more here, like kind of like this or something. I don't know. We'll figure that out as we go. Maybe this one can be not a block. I don't really like that way. So yeah, I mean maybe just something like that, something really simple. And then we can do just to get the block out there. I don't know. Maybe that again. These are all not decided yet fully. I think this might actually be the way that I want to do it. Yeah, it's not perfect. It doesn't really do what I want it to do, but we can figure that out as well. So we just grab a block and we'll put a block there for now as like our temporary loader. We're gonna take that away actually, and let's try a stair. I think a stair might work better for this. I don't want to type on that. Maybe that way. Nope, wrong thing. Maybe like that. Yeah, I'll leave it as is. It's not perfect, but it's okay. It doesn't need to be perfect to be good. And then this is still a mess, so we'll come back after we clear all this stuff out. Okay, y'all. So we got a little bit of an entry kind of storage area down here, where we're kind of storing our shulker boxes for now. And we did a little bit of work on these like kind of banisters, all that stuff. This is a little bit more over now. Same kind of deal up here. I changed this out a little bit, added some fences all around it. Makes it look a little bit more sturdy, I think, but still not perfect, but you know, it works. And then we flip this around. This won't be how it looks when it's finalized. It's just for now it will. Anyways, let's go down here because I kind of want to work on this first. I completely forgot about this. This is where we're going to make our like furnace area. So, you know, some smokers to start off would be pretty cool, I think. And then we'll do furnace here. Maybe a furnace here. And then on top of that, we can kind of mess around here and put like a, I don't know, a blast furnace. I know it's like a little silly looking. Maybe we can adjust that, but actually we'll leave it as is for now like this, because I might put the blast furnace up on the next floor. But this is like a little cooking area, and you know, something I really wanted to recreate in Minecraft, which I haven't really done too much, and I think might look pretty cool, is a grandfather clock. So I think in general, like grandfather clocks are kind of unique because they have like a like a chime in the middle that makes the tick tock sound, the clock part of it. And you know, a lot of clocks that I've seen like nowadays are more digital and all that stuff, especially the ones that I have in my own home. So being able to build a grandfather clock is pretty cool, I think. Now how we're gonna do that is a little bit unique. I want to actually flip that around, make it a little bit like that, I think. Or no, right? It should be this way. Yeah, it should be. And most grandfather clocks, I feel like in Minecraft, are built like that. So what I want to do is kind of add some detailing to it. So we'll use armor stands. We do have that on this server. And then let's put that there. Cool. And then we'll slide him back. So we'll show or turn off gravity. We're gonna move him down a little bit and then move him over. And this one's gonna be a little different. It's like kind of like the small hand a little bit more. So we're gonna have to mess it around a little bit more. We're gonna move it back Z-wise. And it's not perfect. I actually think what I might do is real quick swap out this for a full block, just because I think it's gonna look better than the stair in terms of like connecting these up and all that stuff. So what we'll do is we'll put that there. Plus you can't really see it anyway, so it's okay. We can also hide the item frames at some point if we really want to. I don't know if that's what I'm gonna do yet, but we'll see when we get there. I don't want to go that big, but I do want to go about there for the small hand, and then we'll move it over and up, and then tilt a bit. Not on the Y though. I want to tilt the Z a little bit more, and then we can move it over to the left a bit, and that's perfect. I think we can hide this one and lock interaction. And then we can send another one in there. And then this one can be a little bit, I don't know, bigger probably. And then we can turn off gravity on this one and then shift it over. Now it might be a little weird because we have to kind of position it to where it's not in the hitbox almost. Like it's kind of a little funky the way it has to be. Oop, I don't want to move that one. I want to move the bigger one. See if I can get into that. Is that the right one? No. Let me do hitboxes. This is where it kind of gets a little tricky because you have to like be pretty much perfect. I think their hitboxes are right in each other. So if I move it over a little bit, it might be a little bit easier if I can get it to go where I want it to go. Maybe. Yep, there we go. Perfect. So we can move this one over a little bit more now and get him out of there. Perfect. Oop. And we'll click done there for now. We'll get this one back over. And you know, this is a quick fix. It worked. It ended up doing what I wanted it to do. But Yeah, so this one's a little bit bigger, so we can move its head position a little bit more over. I'm going the wrong way, I think. Yeah, that's X, so it would be the Z coordinate, and then we can move it back up a little bit. And that is pretty much a grandfather clock, I think, at least. I think it looks pretty cool. Obviously, we can't place anything on top of there anyways, but, you know, as like a little bit of a kitchen, a little bit of functionality in here, I think this is a really cool way of doing it. And we'll kind of add more as we need to. I don't know why I see that guy. Oh, that's why. Yeah, that's still on. But yeah, that is the grandfather clock area of our base. I wish I could kind of block this off a bit better. Maybe with an armor stand I can, but I don't really want to deal with that. So we'll figure that out as we go. Maybe a painting or something to kind of block it off. Honestly, a painting would be pretty cool. Let me see if I can get one of those crafted up. And there we go. Painting. Now this might not work, but I think honestly I think it does a little bit. It's pretty cool looking actually. So we're gonna go with that. I know it's not perfect. It's kind of silly, but it does get rid of that wall, so it kind of looks a little bit better. If it was one forward more, maybe it would work a little bit better, but then you're losing pretty much all of the grandfather clock part of it. You're not even gonna get to see it. So yeah, you make, you know, make sacrifices with it. But anyways, let's go to the upstairs area. I've been actually really excited for this part of it. I think it's gonna be really, really cool. Um, I I know that I'm gonna start with this area, but I gotta get the resources for it and stuff like that. And then this area is gonna be a lot harder to do, I think. I'm probably going to not section it off actually and leave it mostly open. The only thing that I really need to do is get like a staircase right here that kind of runs along here to make it a little bit easier. But we'll plot that out a little bit and then we'll be right back once we've done that. And just like that, guys, all of our interiors, minus the bell, is finished. So I kind of like it. I think it looks pretty cool. I'm gonna do a little bit more kind of design here, probably with like some trapdoors and stuff at some point. I just haven't gotten around to it. And the reason why I haven't gotten around to it is something that you'll see later. I also think that I'm gonna change what this ender chest is, as it's kind of just right now just sitting there, but we'll kind of mess around with it. But we can actually get rid of this, oop, and not those. But yeah, I kind of use mini blocks as like a little filler. What I'll eventually do is kind of actually put things here, like some books, shelves, and stuff like that to kind of bring it out a little bit more. But I'm pretty happy with the way this desk looks and kind of the chair as well. Again, this part I'm going to do in the future. You'll have to just wait and see what's going to happen with it, but it's going to be pretty cool. And yeah, I'm really happy with this. I also like that there's a little bit of a glow. But anyways, we'll go up here and we'll finish this in between the next episode as well. That bat bite, I think, is really starting to get to me. So I'm gonna call it a night real quick, and hopefully nothing too bad comes of it. Catch y'all in the next episode. Bye for now.